Hello, and welcome to another episode of Contemporary Living Live, where we provide lifestyle solutions for everyday people. And we want to thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day. I know. Everybody wants to watch the Oscars. But if you're here, you want to be with us. So I just want to let you know that we appreciate that. And as always, we have a great discussion for you tonight on a very, very important topic. At least I think it's very important. And I can't wait to get started. But before we do, let's end Women's History Month with a bang in three words: Ketanji Jackson Brown. Yes. The Supreme Court nominee just ended her nomination hearings, and she did that with flying colors. You know, whether you're for her or against her, the one thing you cannot deny that you were treated to a rare display of brilliance, a standard of excellence, and calmness under pressure that does not often happen, when you're appearing before a Senate committee. I look back, and when I think back when then the Supreme Court nominee, it was now Justice Brett Kavanaugh in 2018, just looking at his facial expressions and his answers that he provided with that Senate committee, he was very emotional. He was curt. He seemed, perturbed by some of the questions that were being asked of him. And some of his answers to me were even hostile. And he had no problem of showing his discontent with some of the questions that he received. But guess what? Now he sits on the highest court in the U.S. And I am sure that nominee Ketanji Jackson Brown will too, after the Senate vote, which happens in a few weeks, making her the first Black female to sit in that office because she is qualified. Notice what I said, because she is qualified. So we'll see. Nevertheless, we salute you, Ketanji Jackson Brown, rounding out Contemporary Living's Women's History Month. Yes, Ketanji Jackson Brown. Let's keep our eyes on her, you guys. So, housekeeping note. So, of course, you can find Contemporary Living on Facebook, YouTube, and IG. And if you want to get in contact with us, just go to info@contemporarylivinglive.com. That's info@contemporarylivinglive.com. We're not hard to find, and we would love to hear from you. Like I always say, our platform is your platform. So reach out. But before I move on, there's something that I need to start doing. I need you to smash up that like button and share this live. That's right, you guys. I'm asking you to smash the like button and share this live because we've got a great conversation today. Now, I met our guest through social media, and I've been following her for a couple of years. I love her approach to life and her mission. She's big on helping creatives and individuals become self-care bosses. Yep, that's it. Self-care bosses. She decided to stop hiding and became bold, and is now using her own life experiences of abandonment, of heartbreak, and creating music to help others heal. She is a licensed massage therapist specializing in myofascial release and trigger point therapy. And she is also a certified death doula. Ladies and gentlemen, the original self-care boss, Miss Elmira Loftin.
I'm doing fantastic. I was jamming to the that intro music, on that.
I know that's so we're with E360 TV, and that is their theme music. And I tell you, I'm like you. Every time I hear it, my shoulders, I'm just like, hey, that's the song right there. So yeah,
that's how I was doing.
I totally understand, and I tell you, I don't like this word, but I'm going to use this word. I have been stalking you I have been stalking you because it's like I said in the intro, I absolutely love your mission. I love your message. And we are just so delighted that you could be on the show today to just talk about it. Okay. Because one of the things, and we'll get this probably in the later half, because I know, and just for those of you who are watching, Self-Care Boss and I already had this conversation and we were just everywhere. So we're, because there's so many things, there's so many layers to this woman that you guys will discover. So I'm going to try to just keep things in order so we can have, like a decent conversation that people can follow. So, like I was saying, a lot of people don't know what a death doula is, and we're going to talk about that. They've heard of birth doula, and we're going to talk about that. But one of the things I really like to start off with is asking people about their origin story. Like, how did you become a self-care boss, and what is a self-care boss?
Okay, that's like a loaded question, but I think it would start with my family structure.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a large family out of New Kent, Virginia, which is right outside of Richmond. And we had, we went to church, we did all of that. So I grew up, and then my mom was a single mom as well. So I saw her working a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I hung out with my brothers and sisters a lot. So that was my upbringing.
Okay.
And with my mom having such a devoted work ethic, I saw that self care wasn't a big piece for her. She couldn't. She had 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when I grew up, it became something which was necessary to me.
Wow.
And being a self care boss, my meaning behind that is putting your self care first, being in control, because a boss is in control. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the people who are attracted to me happen to be business owners and entrepreneurs. So that boss has multiple meanings.
Mm-hmm. That's really good, and that's really true, because you find that, and I talk about women, but I know that there are men too who always put everything before their own self-care. And how can you truly give 100% to anything if you're not taken care of? I often wonder about that question, and that makes me think about the importance of taking care of yourself, because if it's hard to give when you only have 10%. It's hard to, and we work through that, but it's so difficult. And I think, with your plan, with your programs that you have, you can definitely put people on the right path. So speaking of your services, let's talk about some of the things that you do, as far as body worker, because that's a new term too. So now we got death doula, we've got body worker. So what's a body worker? I like that term though.
I didn't used to like that term because
Mhm.
I'm a licensed massage therapist, and in school it seemed like a downgrade.
Ah.
But body worker really means that I work with the body to heal people through
Mhm.
touch.
Mhm.
And so you can be a body worker as a personal trainer, any of that.
Mhm.
But what I do that through healing touch. I utilize different massage techniques, energy healing,
Mhm.
stretching,
Mhm.
even conversation, prayer to
Mhm.
help the body. I am working with the body in multiple ways.
Mhm. So another question would be, when you work with the body, what do you discover? Because to me, there's something like massage therapists and people who work with the body, there's something you have to discover. I had one friend who actually went to a massage therapist, and it was an experience, because she said she started uncontrollably just crying. Have you ever heard of that? Or if you have, what's happening when you just cry from a massage? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that happens all the time to
Oh
me
wow.
when I'm giving. Oh yeah, when I'm giving a massage, sometimes even when I'm getting a massage, because what ends up happening, we are emotional beings.
Yeah.
Our emotions span our whole body. They can get locked in our heart. That's how people suffer from heart attacks.
Wow.
Heartbreak is actually a thing. Like we may joke about it. Oh, I broke my heart. You can actually break the heart. When you look at the heart energetically, it
Mm-hmm.
has broken into pieces. It's not operating efficiently.
Wow.
And so, what I feel in the body, I can actually feel these emotions. For example, if I'm touching your shoulder, and I had a client yesterday, and I could feel the heaviness in her arm. Her arm felt like a brick because all of the
Wow.
emotions were locked in that side, whereas I felt the other arm, it was light.
Mm.
Yes. And this happens over time because we're not taught to be in touch with our bodies. If you think about it, in this society, collectively, we are only taught to touch our body or to touch somebody else when it comes to sex. And that is like, that's getting to another level of intimacy.
Right.
We need to break it back to basic healing touch because that's what we need.
Wow. So we that's so interesting because we're not taught to be in touch with our bodies because basically you wake up, you do your shower, you do your daily routine, and then you carry on. But if someone else is hurting, then you're like, well, what's wrong? So you get really, you're there for the hugs, you're there to help everyone else but yourself. So how would we even start to get in touch with our bodies? That's just really interesting.
Okay, I'm going to give you three things.
Okay.
The first one, do a body analysis. Like wake up in the morning. You can do it right now if you want to. Like close your eyes and really think, what am I feeling? Do my eyes hurt? Does my right neck hurt? Have I
Wow.
been feeling a twinge in my left ankle? Remember when I got that bruise and it's still hurting on my side? You may have forgot about it, but you need to
Right.
really assess and get
Wow.
in touch with everything that's specifically going on right now. Number two, when you bathe or take your shower, talk to your body. I actually do this. I'm like, oh, Elmira, you so beautiful. And then I'm scrubbing, with my loofah or my washcloth.
Yeah.
And those things help because you're able to really get in touch with yourself and see all the intricacies of what's going on with you. You sense your changes and all of that. And thirdly, I would say give yourself a massage while you're in your bathing experience or after you get out the tub, instead of just putting on your lotion or cream. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
do it lovingly.
Wow. Right.
Caress your hands. You just
Even the way you make
you
that
see how,
sound, it's like, yeah. I mean,
but that's all you got to
and you
do.
know what? It doesn't take that long, but you know what really struck me? The first one. What am I feeling? Because people, we just move on unless it's something like I have a headache, like it's just, I really feel that, or I have a stomach ache or my knee, or you really feel that. But there are these little subtle things that, you just may not think about. You know what I'm saying? There may be these little subtle things that are aching constantly that you just don't think about. You just, oh, that's just regular. Let me just continue on with my day. But that stuff really matters.
And I'll tell you this, Melissa, it
Mm-hmm.
matters because once you start to do that assessment,
Mm-hmm.
what you will begin noticing is, you talked about the headache.
Right.
You will begin noticing, you know what? I get a headache every time I see that coworker, or
Oh,
I get a headache every time I'm trying to avoid having the conversation with my husband. So that's going to help you make the connection. Where is this headache coming from? Where is this stomach pain coming from?
Right.
Where is my menstrual pain coming from? Because it's always not the same source.
And you know what? Now that you said that, it just really reiterates how it's all one. So just because you have a headache, it might be caused by a situation in your life, or it might be caused by something else. It's just not your head hurting. There's cause for that. And I think a lot of times we don't go down into the cause. So you're really, with your tips that you gave, you're really kind of helping us connect the pain with the potential cause. And see, I guess if you can connect those, then maybe you'll have a solution.
Yes, and that's what I encourage everybody, my clients or people I meet. That's part
Mhm,
of the self care boss piece. I'm putting
mhm.
you in control of your health. Just like you said, connecting the cause. I
Yeah.
want you to come in and tell me, you know what, Elmira? Over the last couple of weeks, I've been feeling this lower back pain, and I know it's because of ABCD.
Right.
And I don't have to lead or guide or direct you. You are in control, you are in charge.
Right. So I don't know if, I don't think I asked you this. Now, how did you come up with the name Self Care Boss? Because I like you, I like that name. I don't even call you, I don't even want to call you Elmira. I want to call you Self Care Boss. So how did you even come up with that name? Because that is real, that's a really nice name.
You know, I don't know. I just started using it because my business actually it's gone through quite a number of transitions. Like my
Okay.
original name was Another Touch Massage.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I started this was back in 2016. I just started using it as a hashtag
Mm-hmm.
because of the lifestyle that I was living and it
Mm-hmm.
just stuck. And then I transitioned to using it as, in my branding and my business name, but it
Mm-hmm.
just came to me. I have no idea. Like there was no
I like that name.
pinpoint that said, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is it." It just landed.
Oh
Came
wow.
from God.
There you go. There you go. I like when that happens. Because
Yes,
you can
right,
guarantee
right.
that's a, you got 100% on it when it's with God.
Yes. Yeah, because and that's one thing I tell people too, always be in flow.
Mm-hmm.
Always be accepting of opportunities and have
Mm-hmm.
faith because sometimes we are so quick. Like at the top of the show you were talking about Kadanji, the
Mm-hmm.
judge. She waited, she was patient to
Yeah.
get to this position.
Right.
And sometimes we can be so rushed and
Right.
rapid. Why isn't this happening now? That's all part of self-care too, is
Mm-hmm.
pacing yourself, because it's so easy to look at what other people are doing, especially on social media. Like, oh, Melissa got the show. I want my show too, but maybe God time ain't for them to have it. But it's we got to recognize those things about ourselves and take a step back because it affects our health and wellness too.
Absolutely. So I know you are a massage therapy. That's part of that body work that you do. So tell some of us, because you know what, there may be people that are watching right now. What are some of the benefits of just getting a massage?
Oh my goodness, there are a number of benefits, but for me, I really focus on the psychological
Mm-hmm.
mindset, the
Mm-hmm.
emotional and the spiritual benefits,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we neglect those things.
Mm.
We're just um I deal with grief a lot.
Right.
People have undergone divorce or a death in the family. Going back to what we spoke of earlier, these emotions get locked in the body. So the massage is actually manipulating those things out
Mm-hmm.
of your tissue. It's almost like, do you cook chicken? Are
Yeah.
you a person? Do you eat chicken? Do you cook chicken?
Oh yeah.
So you
Baked,
know how
fried,
when you
broiled,
see,
you name it. You name it. Uh-huh.
so when you gotta marinate the meat, the
Right.
chicken. You can't just, oh, let me just take it out the package and throw it in the oven, that
Right.
ain't gonna work. Your people eating ain't gonna be satisfied. They're gonna be like, where the seasoning at? So what I'm
Right.
doing with the massage is adding the seasoning, and I'm taking
Mm.
out what does not need to be in there. On the chicken. So somebody said, yes, we love chicken.
That's my husband. That's my husband. When you see
Oh,
contemporary living, that's him behind the scenes throwing in the jokes.
but
Thank you,
you got to
Andre.
take
Yes,
off
we do love chicken.
you got to take off the fat. You got to, if you want the boneless, if you want to take out the bone and
Right.
make barbecue, that's
Right.
what I'm doing with the massage. I'm crafting your muscles, your
Mm.
body, your tissues, your tendon into something that's more palatable, something that you're going to feel better. So I'm changing your perspective as well. And another thing, because I spoke of the mindset as well, you will have clearer thinking and
Mm.
more energy, because a lot of times we get stressed out, we can't sleep because we're thinking about something. It could be the death of a lost one, it could be we lost our job, argument you had, any of these things.
Right.
It disrupts our normal daily life. A massage comes in and actually relaxes you and gives you new perspective on everything.
We have a question. Does do the massages release toxins?
Okay. Yes, it does. I do not like that word toxins, but I know why we utilize that word, because a toxin would be described as anything that does not belong in your body. And it's
Mhm.
anything which is not benefiting your body right now. So, for example, if you're over consuming vitamin C could be seen as a toxin. So,
Mhm.
yes, the massage is going to release that, because by me manipulating your muscles, just like I'm doing on my arm here, I'm pushing the waste into the excretory system so you can pee and poop it out.
Oh
That's
wow.
basically what happens.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that question, Shay. We really like that. Now, one of the things that you also have, I don't know if it's a program or or if it's just one of the speeches that you give, but I love the title, and it's how to manage work stress like a boss.
Oh, yes, that's a speaking topic.
Uh-huh.
And what happens? Work stress. Most of it's on us. I got to
Right.
always put the onus back on us, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times with work stress, I used to have a boss. I'm now my own boss, so I still have a boss. But we have to manage our feelings, we have
Mm-hmm.
to manage our approach. Should you even be in that job? You've been there for 17 years, and no wonder you're stressed, because you should have elevated to another level, or God gave you a business to do, but you neglected the business that you should have started 8 years ago. So,
Right.
to manage your workplace stress, you got to go back to, what can I do to control this work situation?
Mm-hmm.
Monday is tomorrow, the start of a lot of people's work week, which they dread. Some of us dread.
Yeah.
I actually love Mondays. You got to ask yourself, why am I dreading Mondays? You have to understand that. Is it because of your boss? Is it because you don't like the type of work you're doing? You don't enjoy your teammates? I mean, you have to analyze that for yourself. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to say about Mondays, I think it was Les Brown in one of his speeches said the most dreadful day is on Mondays, and that is the day many people who are in careers die because you're going back to work. A lot of heart attacks happen on Mondays just because it's a Monday and you're probably in a job that you don't like or whatever. But yeah, Mondays, that's we need to turn that Monday, manic Monday, into something else. So a
It's a
good day.
magic. It's a
Yeah.
magic
Turn
Monday.
Manic Monday to Magic Mondays. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
We did have a question from Eileen, and I think she was talking about the health benefits of massage therapy versus chiropractic
Okay. Okay,
services.
that's a great concern.
Mhm.
So when
Thank
you
you,
think about
Eileen, for
your
the question.
body, when
Mhm.
you think about your body, you have a skeletal system, all of your bones. You know, you got your shoulders, you got your face, the
Mhm.
nose.
Mhm.
That's what the chiropractor works on. Chiropractor works on the bones. Then you got your structural stuff, your back, your deltoids, which are these muscles right here. The things that hold up the bones are the muscles. That's what I work on.
Okay.
You need both. You need both a chiropractor and a massage therapist because they work in tandem. I'm going to give you an example or an analogy. It's almost like going to get an alignment on your car and not get new tires, knowing you need new tires. You're
Okay.
going to need another alignment.
Absolutely.
So, and
Absolutely.
that's what ends up happening. The chiropractor does your alignment, straightens your, and remember, a chiropractor just does not align your spine. As a matter of fact, I got my chiropractor appointment in the morning. Side note.
So,
Um,
uh-huh.
yeah, I go too.
Right.
Um, they work on all your bones, like your wrists, your ankle, your neck. It's not just your spine. Some people think, oh, I ain't been in no car accident. I don't need babies can you can take your child to a chiropractor
Ooh,
because just the process of birth is disjointing.
right. Oh, wow. That is good. So there you have it, guys. You actually need both. Someone says she doesn't want her neck cracked. Christy.
Oh, well,
Christy, see,
don't do it. If
CJ.
you're afraid to do it, don't have nobody do any work you don't want to have done.
Absolutely. And I follow this one. He's a chiropractor out of Chicago. His name is Dr. Shalabi, and people fly from everywhere to to see him, well, to get work done from him. He's a chiropractor. And the way everything sounds, it's like I don't want to be a part of that. It's like and I don't know how they feel. I mean, they show them when he's done, but I'm like, is that a good feeling? Because they're just like, oh, and I guess, maybe that's joy. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, chiropractors actually scare me. But guess what, self care boss? We are at the top of the half hour. We're already halfway done. So if you are watching Contemporary Living, we're going to take a commercial break. But before we do that, don't forget, share this broadcast and like this program today. And we will be right back with the self care boss, Elmira Loftin. see, you guys, you small businesses are starting to work with us. We love our advertisers and we thank them. We have advertisements today from Coach Mel Bird, Andre the Realtor Hill, Shiro and Farm Hill Coffees, and T Gnome Nails. We are working these commercials. We are working these commercials, and I'm really starting to love it. But now we're going to bring Elmira Loftin back, the self care boss, because we want to start with the top of the hour, talking about a death doula. What is a death? Because it sounds so mysterious. It sounds like, it sounds so mysterious. So, what is a death doula, self care boss?
Basically, a death doula is a holistic person. Like, I give a holistic approach to helping you with anything non medical at the end of life. So, what that looks like is I can host a vigil or help your family host a vigil. Like, have you experienced anyone's death in your family?
Absolutely. In 2018, my nephew passed. Mhm.
Okay. Were you there like in his last days, or did you just hear about it after
No,
the
no,
death?
we were there. We were there.
Okay.
We were there.
So
Mhm.
essentially, being there, I would be the person who would come in from outside of the family to assist with all of that. Because sometimes those situations can be chaotic.
Right.
Like with your nephew, the parents
Hmm.
don't get a chance to have a break, or
Right.
people need food. People, it's an emotional time. People don't know what to do.
Hmm.
And as the doula, I would come in to help those situations. And I don't, what I really love doing is preparing people before the last days.
Hmm.
Because what I have discovered is the more you are prepared to write your death wishes, and you can do this starting at the age of 20,
Hmm.
knowing what do you want your death to look like? What colors are there? What smells? All of these things we got to get in a better conversation of death, because we're all going to be there. It's just a transition.
I,
And we
I,
get, so yeah.
this is great. Lynn Hightower Felder said, yes, this is needed. She's also a hospice nurse, so she is really
Oh,
relating. She says, this is a good topic. And that's so true, self care boss. We celebrate, life, and I mean it's when people come into the world, but death, and it's just like insurance. This stuff is really not touched on or not talked about, or we shy away from it, like, oh, it's never going to happen or it's not going to happen. But that is part of the life cycle. Death is part of the
yes.
life cycle. And you're right, we should have a conversation around it and about it. It is so important.
And you know what? It's more than a conversation. It's
Hmm.
really about understanding what is death.
There
You
you
just
go.
you just noted it. It's a part of life.
Hmm.
Once we
Hmm.
understand that death is a part of life, we don't have to be afraid. It can be beautiful.
Hmm.
I've been at people's vigils. Like, for example, I recall this was one of my great aunts.
Hmm.
She was dying. We all went to visit her at the hospital. It must have been like 30 people there. Like,
Wow.
my aunt who was Filipino had made the lumpia, and we had food in the room. It was like a party
Wow.
because my aunt this was
Mhm.
my great aunt. She was one of our gems. And
Yeah.
I just remember being there. And this was before I even knew this was a gift of mine. I don't know if anybody else in the room was like tuning in to what my aunt was saying,
Hmm.
but she was saying some of the most beautiful stuff. Like, she was talking about how she could see her sisters and other siblings and family members who had passed.
Wow.
She also was this. sounded weird at the time, but now I know what was happening.
Yeah.
She said it felt like her soul was going in through her butthole, through her anus, but that's really the
Wow. I've never heard of
transition
that.
is, yeah, but everybody feel what's going on is we're losing our physical self and gaining our most spiritual self.
Ah.
So, in order to be not present in the body, we have to expand in spirit. So,
Mm,
you do feel certain things kind of escaping from your body. And
mhm.
it's so fascinating to me. I'm like, this is so wonderful. Like, I don't know, it feels like rainbows and, it's not
Wow.
scary because once you know what's actually going on with this person, we talk about heaven,
Yeah.
but I don't think a lot of us really grasp what heaven is.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
a glorious place. It's actually us returning to our source.
Ooh. It's what I live for. That
Yeah,
was a
you
song. That
see?
used to be a song that talked about
Yes.
heaven by BB and
And
CC Winans.
yes,
You
I knew
reminded
that.
me
I
of that
thought that was
when
you.
you said
Yes.
that. That is wonderful. I mean, and the way you make it sound, it's like, wow, I can't wait to be there.
But you know
Because we
what? And this is
uh-huh.
what I help clients do because
Wonderful.
you
Mhm.
didn't even, let's say, before I, as a deaf doula, come to talk to you, you don't even realize you have a choice. Who said you had to have your funeral at the church? What if you want to have it at home?
Right.
People are now, let me tell you, and I'm sure the hospice nurse on here now will know this as well. People are now, with what has happened in the past 2 years for us, people are now deciding to, like, if their loved one dies at home,
Yeah.
they're not immediately calling hospice or the funeral home or the medical examiner. They're taking time to care for that family member and do some rituals, clean the body and all of that stuff. Like, they may take up to 24 hours if that's the time that they need to spend with their loved one after, the soul has transitioned on, because some people, we don't even realize we have the permission to do that. We just think, oh, they took their last breath, let me call child's funeral home
Right.
now because I
Right.
don't want to see
Right.
you now. No, you
Right.
don't even have to do that. Who told you you had to do that?
They've made it
Death,
a
yeah,
racket. It's a it's a field now. That's just
yes.
normal. That's normally what you do. But this is so refreshing just to hear that. Um, and one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about, how can we how can we start changing? Because my first thought is the body's going to exhume, the body's going to exhume, so you can't stay here. So I think that's probably, maybe that might be some of the reason for them calling, because we don't know enough about biology to say, well, let's just stay here with them. But I'm glad people are doing that. So how can people feel, not nervous and think the first thing that they have to do is call the funeral home, or to come call to have the body removed out of the home?
Well, here's the thing. Have professionals, when you already know your loved one is going to die,
Mm-hmm.
get professional help, because those professionals are going to tell you. Ask questions. This is
Mm-hmm.
something if your loved one is under hospice care, those are questions you need to be asking your. That's why hospice care is there. But if you don't know to ask these questions, like, okay, let's say example, it's my mom. I need to be like, okay, when this happens with my mom, hospice nurse, what should I do? Ask them, because they're going to give their protocol. Because here's a reminder, that hospice care network has like 100 patients or
Mm.
however many is on their roster at
Yeah.
that one time. They cannot help you, handhold you. That's where a deaf doula comes in.
Yeah.
Consult a deaf doula.
Yeah.
That's another thing you can do as well. And then read some, you can get some books on this before it's time, because the last thing you want to do is wait. Oh, now dad's got the diagnosis. Now I need to learn everything about death and dying.
Mhm.
No, learn now. It's
Yeah.
almost like we're preparing it. I liken this to being a birth doula.
Hmm.
We as women already know we have the ability and the power to give birth from the time we begin menstruating. So at that, even though I know I'm not going to have a child at that
Hmm.
time, I'm in a conscious thinking about, okay, well, what would it be like? I'm around babies. I'm thinking the same thing with death. You need to be consciously and intentionally aware. I see somebody said, I encourage the family to take as much time as they need. See?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but those are things to do, because when the emotions are high, it's almost too late to start
Yeah.
planning. You got to plan in advance.
And one of the things we talked about, when we were last together, and it's something that Eileen commented on. She said back in the day, especially in the South, the deceased stayed in the home hours before the undertakers were called in. Mourners came in to respectfully help transition the soul. So they really had a celebration right there. And I think you touched on it in our last conversation, that's what they used to do before they start. You need a casket, and you need to pay for a headstone, and you need to do all of these things. It didn't you touch on that?
I sure did.
Uh-huh.
And yes, people, and when you look at the statistics, it's anywhere from, depending on which study you're viewing,
Right.
anywhere from 75% to 90% of people want to die at home. That's their desire.
Yeah.
And yes, people are doing things like home funerals now, because we used to do that. And
Yeah.
we're getting back with the transition of COVID. And one thing that COVID taught us is to get back to the basics.
Absolutely.
We absolutely have to. And I'm going to tell you something that blew my mind when I was doing my certification, because I wasn't aware of this. You
Please.
can even order cardboard, they're like cardboard burial boxes. And
Mm-hmm.
what you do, you have your family and friends come over and decorate the box. How cool is
Oh
that?
wow. Yeah.
And then you don't have to, and these boxes are sturdy enough to, to house the body.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the funeral home and get the wooden casket or the more expensive. And it's a community
Mm-hmm.
activity where the people, for days are coming over, drawing flowers,
Mm-hmm.
writing
Mm-hmm.
scriptures, quotes, whatever
Right.
on the. I said, oh my
That's
goodness,
beautiful. That's
I love
beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, can you share with us? So now we kind of know what to do up until the death. But what happens is once the body is laid to rest, dealing with the pain and the grief that's left behind, how do you, as a death doula, help people through that process? And can you like maybe share a story or some information or an experience?
this. Oh, certainly, certainly. One, my best way to do that is through my grief massage. I give grief
Ah.
massage. And it goes back to what we discussed earlier in the show, is how the grief massage pulls out those emotions
Mhm.
from the body. I had an experience with a client here recently. She had just multiple losses back to back to back.
Wow.
And I set her up for a 4 session package. By the fourth session, and I told her this, I was like, oh my gosh, you just like, I could, her spirit just was so much lighter and brighter. And I
Mhm.
asked her, I said, don't you feel lighter? She said, yes, I do. Because the first session she came in, she just, it was
Yeah.
just this look of like downtroddenness, depression,
Hmm.
sadness, and those massages coupled with all of the other self-care things
Hmm.
she was doing helped tremendously. Oh my goodness, she wouldn't
Yeah.
have been able to release all of that from her body without the massages.
Oh, wow. That's good to know. So I know, like during a time COVID, so I think I had read in 2021 we lost like 300 something thousand. 2020 we lost about 300,000 in the US. 2021 we lost about 700,000 in the US. And these are deaths that weren't expected. You know what I'm saying? Like you have like if someone has cancer or if someone's in hospice, you know about these deaths, but those deaths from COVID were really kind of unexpected. So how was business for you then? And then getting back to COVID, some people don't want to be touched because they still have this fear of COVID that they're dealing with. So how would you deal with all of that? With the unexpected death.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know I'm trying to unpack a lot in a little bit of time, but
No,
I
but
wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do that.
I know, but
Hmm.
COVID has taught us that unexpected death can really happen at any time,
Thank
not
you.
just with COVID. We have
Yeah,
to, and
that's
that's one of
true.
the things I am keen on teaching as a deaf doula, as a body worker, as a self care boss, is
Hmm.
living your life today.
Yeah.
Because, and for that reason, you don't know when you're going to lose that loved one.
Yes.
My advice for people is just that: live your life today. If
Yes.
you know, because I'll tell you, the two hardest deaths I've experienced recently were both unexpected. My
Mm.
dad died in 2018. Two
Hmm.
days after, like 2 to 3 days after Christmas, we got a
Yeah.
call that he was found in his car, and this was in Norfolk, Virginia,
Hmm.
deceased.
Mm.
So I did not see that coming. But you know what? Because of the conversations I had had with him, the wisdom and the knowledge he had imparted in me, even restoration of our relationship, forgiving him, all of
Yeah.
those things, I was ready because I was already daily living my life. And then the most recent one was a COVID death. My good friend, just on December the 19th, she died.
Mm.
And that was a huge shocker. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'll give you a story behind, and I just utilize my stories so they can be inspiration to other
Right.
people about things you can do. Because I never am like, because your situation might be different, but you
Hmm.
may be inspired by what I did.
Right.
When I found out, and this was it, the transition was about a month for her, and it was right after December when I found out she was in the hospital, and she was well. She was well, and then had to go back to the hospital.
Hmm.
I took her a bouquet of flowers and a card that day.
Mm.
And that bouquet of flowers, I had never gotten her flowers before. Like I bought her other gifts, but she told me, it was like a couple of days after I delivered the flowers. She was like, Elmira, I just can't stop smiling every time I look at them flowers. They so beautiful. Them flowers are so beautiful. So
Right.
now when I think of her, that's one of the fond memories. I could have waited and said, oh, I'll take her some flowers 3 weeks
Right.
from now. Or when something hits me and
Right.
God speaks to me and
Yeah.
says, take her flowers today, do it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I would tell people. Whatever is on your heart right now for whoever it is, do it. Because
Oh,
you don't know. That unexpected death could be tonight, tomorrow. I mean,
yeah.
it may sound grim, but
Yeah.
we're all transitioning.
Yeah. Every day we're in some type of transition. Yeah. I would agree with you there. Especially, like give, they have this saying now, give give people their flowers while they are alive. So for you to, do something now as it comes to you, as God, impresses it on your heart, I think that's a wonderful idea. Just do it, no matter how crazy it is. If it's impressed on your heart to call someone that you haven't spoke to in a long time, or whatever the case is, or to get, pass it on, buy the next person coffee. If you feel that on your heart, you should just do it. Because you're right, tomorrow's not promised. And a lot of us, we wake up thinking, we've got tomorrow. We've got tomorrow. I know even my thing is I'll always start on a Monday.
Why do you have to start on a Monday?
Right.
Start today. Start it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to give you an example too of things I do. This is why I'm called the self-care boss. Like, you see this dress I have on now? I wear similar things like this to do massage in, because I'm like, why am I waiting to wear my dress till I go to a wedding or till I go? No.
Right.
I want to look nice every day. Or if I want to, ain't nobody going to tell me what I'm going to wear and when I'm going to wear it. And some people wait. Here go, since we're talking end of life, some people wait till their funeral to be best dressed. I mean, come on.
Ooh, yeah.
Stop it.
I
mean, I'm just.
I'm going. I got to get me a new wardrobe. You hear that, Andre? Right? You hear that, right?
Ooh, you got it.
I want to look good every day. But that is so true. He says the computer is messing up. Sure it is.
He heard what you said.
He heard what I said. But yeah, that is true. But you know what? Like I said, there are so many layers to you. I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna give you some things, and I just want you to kind of and this is based off of your programs. So let's talk about you're still doing this, right? 31 days to self-discovery.
Oh, that's actually that's an ebook I have.
Right.
It's for anybody who has experienced grief or loss. It's on the website. Go to theselfcareboss.com. It's an ebook, 31 Days to Self-Discovery. And each day you do something different to help you rediscover yourself after a death, after a breakup, after a divorce, all of those things.
And you know what? Not only do you do that, you also help entrepreneurs with your Jumpstart Your Massage Business program, making your first $20,000 as a massage therapist. We are always, encouraging and bringing information for people who want to start their own businesses and things like that. So tell us a little bit about that as well.
Basically, that's a structured coaching program where I take new massage therapists who wish to start and grow their business, and I help them along the way. Like, I give them target market worksheets, all kinds of stuff to refine and define what is going to be your place in the marketplace. Because what I found with massage therapists is not being able to, one of the things that prevents us from being successful is not defining a specific target market, or what are you focusing on? Like for me, I focus on grief, and I've been through multiple transitions throughout my massage career, but I know when somebody comes to me for grief, they're going to get results.
Right.
And I help the massage business owners craft and create business plans and take it to the market.
You won't believe this, but our time is up.
Oh, that's okay.
But what I want you to do is tell us really quick, where do you see the self-care boss in 5 years from now?
Oh, 5 years from now, that's like a loaded question. I don't know. Here's the thing.
Now you close your eyes and imagine.
Right. I see myself wherever I want to be, because I was thinking about this the other day. Was right now I'm living the life that I imagined. I work for myself. I do my own thing. I design my life. I have my own schedule. For me, it's going to be more of that.
Okay.
Having my own family, growing some food in the backyard, doing
Wonderful.
some traveling.
Wonderful.
sitting in a hammock, going to the beach, eating some good food, wearing my robe around the house, teaching dance, continuing to perform,
Oh
just
my.
being creative and evolving and growing into and just continuing to help people with their health and wellness.
And someone, Eileen just asked if you can answer real quick. Many online companies offer doula classes. Which one would you recommend if someone wanted to uh, do that type of work?
Here's the one I can recommend. There's a place called Doula Givers. Suzanne O'Brien is the founder and the owner. They actually have a certification course. They just closed it for like literally today. They closed it for the spring session.
Yeah.
It's going to open back up in the fall. But yes, doula givers, and you
Okay.
can get and look that up because the organization also hosts free courses for people, for families. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to want to be a doula. You just may be a caregiver in your family and you want to learn more about end of life, like how you can help your
Right.
auntie, your mama, your daddy,
Right.
but doula givers, get in touch with that organization. It's everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, all of it.
Okay. Great. And then tell us how we can reach you. Give me a number.
My telephone number 615-746-7606.
615-746-7606.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. And you're also on Instagram, you're on Facebook, and any other places we can find you?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything is Self-Care Boss.
Self-care boss. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Elmira Loftin. Thank you so much, self-care boss. We are so glad that you came to chat with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Y'all make it a relaxing day.
All right, we'll do. Thanks so much. All right. And as I close out this program and Women's History Month, I want to leave you with a thought. One of my girlfriends, her name is Kimberly Davis, Esquire. Yes, she's a lawyer. So she texted me this week with a musical performance by Jekyll Carr. And it was a song called You Will Win. And the song talks about, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it talks about the enemy coming up against you, your family, your business, your finances. And she goes on to say, you're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel pain, but the truth still remains that you will win in the name of Jesus. And not only will he make it your winning season, but everything attached to you wins. And then she goes on to say, anyone can fight, but everyone can't win. And you can't call yourself a winner looking defeated. So tomorrow is Monday. We want to make it a magic Monday, just like Self-Care Boss told us. So what I want you to do is to win this week and see everything attached to you winning this week. Repeat, everything attached to me wins. That's what I want to see for you this week. And as always, we thank God for his unmerited, undeserving favor called grace. Grace is the total absence from doing anything. You can't work for it. You can't buy it. You can't sell it. It just is. And God gives it to each and every one of us freely. And as believers, we know that Christ died. He was buried and rose again on the third day for our justification. That's in the word. Now let that sink in. And on behalf of myself and my wonderful, hardworking, multi-talented husband, who's I think returning next month, Andre Hill, be brilliant, be you, be blessed. See you April 10th.